This is the Switch 60 LED light bulb. This is probably the most anticipated and talked about LED bulb in history, and it's finally available to consumers. It's only available currently through BatteriesPlus, either in the retail stores or online to the website. So first off, you can see this is the retail packaging. It's a 60 watt version bulb, 800 lumens, with a 25,000 hour life, and it is dimmable. Moving over to the side, we have some more information. It's 120 volts, a color rendering index of greater than 80, and it produces 67 lumens per watt with a 5-year residential warranty. Going back up to the color rendering index, I've seen some of these bulbs actually listed as greater than 85, so apparently there are several different versions out there that use different LEDs, I guess. Probably the most interesting thing and the biggest feature of the bulb is the LQD, as they call it, liquid cooling design. So the bulb uses a liquid silicone inside the bulb that transfers the heat away from the LEDs. Another major feature of the bulb is that it can be used in any fixture, any location, and any orientation. So unlike other bulbs that can't be used in enclosed fixtures or upside down or outside, this one can be used anywhere. So orientation doesn't matter, and also it is approved for damp locations, whereas most are only for indoor or dry locations. So you can use this outside in a lamp if you have to. Here's the standard lighting facts information on the back. As you can see, pretty much the same information, just in an official format. And on this side we have a nice little diagram that kind of shows the bulb and what it looks like. So you can see the design. It does have a standard finned metal heatsink at the bottom, and up top you have the LEDs, which are affixed to pronged metal protrusions up inside the bulb, and the entire glass dome is filled with a liquid silicone. And up top you can see the bulb inside of there. It does have kind of a standard old-fashioned type printing on the top that shows what it is. That's a nice feature, just kind of gives you the feeling of an old-fashioned regular light bulb. And the bottom of the box, it does say made in Thailand. I was under the impression this was actually made in the USA, but apparently not. So it's made in Thailand. Now as far as opening this up, I've opened it once before already. It's kind of a trick to get this thing opened. And in the standard way of kind of doing modern packaging, the packaging itself is way over engineered, just like the bulb itself is, and you'll kind of see how that works here. I think people get a lot of satisfaction just from opening fancy boxes. So it comes out in this package here. Okay, and then it's all kind of entrapped. You have to pull out these back sides, and then I was kind of stuck here for a couple minutes trying to figure out what to do without destroying anything. This part slides back, and then the bulb can be taken out. So here's the bulb itself, the Switch 60. I guess they're color coding these. Orange is for 60, and they have a few different colors for different bulbs. I don't have the color code in front of me, but you can see the design. It's pretty neat if I can get good focus here. One thing they're saying about these bulbs is that they're really almost made to be used in open fixtures. So a lot of kind of modern hotels are putting these things right out in the open in their chandeliers, almost to kind of show, you know, they're using energy efficient, high technology bulbs. It really has quite a bit of weight to it. Standard Edison base, of course, and it has 10 LEDs, which is fewer than you would have in most bulbs, but they are being driven harder, I assume, because of the liquid cooling. And you can see that stamping on top. So I guess I'll fire this thing up and see what the light looks like. Here's the Switch 60 hooked up to a standard triac dimmer and then run through my kilowatt power meter. First off, notice the design. It looks really nice with it turned off. I mean, it's really a nice looking piece of hardware. As far as build quality goes, this is by far the highest quality build construction I've seen of any LED bulb, without exception. Actually right here, I have my desk lamp right beside it, and if I unscrew the bulb here without burning myself, we'll see that I have a Philips L-Prize bulb Okay, so this is really the Philips L-Prize bulb. It's a quality bulb, but it just doesn't feel the same as the switch bulb. There's a big drastic difference just in the build quality when you pick it up and handle it. This thing is as much a work of art as is a functional piece of hardware. So I mean, if that's the thing, something you're looking for in a light bulb, go ahead and get one. There are two different types of the Switch 60. There's this type, which is the clear, that allows you to actually see the inside of it. And there's also a frosted version that has, you know, an opaque dome that kind of distributes the light a little bit more differently. I got this one specifically, you know, kind of to show it off and see what it looks like. I think the frosted one would probably be a little bit better depending on the application. This one here, if it's operating exposed like this, you get a shadow from each individual LED, which can be kind of distracting if you have, you know, vertical lines. If you put your fingers up in front of it, the shadow cast on the wall will have numerous hard shadows. The frosted one will, of course, make that shadow not so hard. And the bulbs are not identical. The frosted one and clear one do not have the same specifications. This one uses 12 watts. The frosted one uses 13.5 watts. So I assume the reason for that is to get the same brightness, they had to pump out more actual light inside the bulb so that by the time it goes through that opaque layer, the actual emitted light is the same. So this one's more efficient. Of the currently released switch bulbs, this one is the most efficient. The 100 watt bulb that's coming out will be the most efficient of the entire line. It has the most lumens per watt. Okay, so now to turn it on. Turn it on, it'll be full brightness. You can see what it looks like. Each individual LED is putting out a nice bright light. It's actually almost too bright to really look at. It's kind of distracting. You get spots in your eyes when you look at it. It's rated at 12 watts. I'm always somewhat suspect of my kilowatt at lower power draws, but we're showing between 7 and 8 watts. So I'm not sure. If I had to guess, I'd say that's a measurement error with the kilowatt instead of this bulb drawing less power than advertised. But if we dim it down, you can see what the dimming profile looks like. So it dims nicely, and all of a sudden it will cut off and get quite a bit dimmer. Okay, so there's dim. Okay, now if I take this dimmer and go further down, nothing happens. So the dimmer is now full dim. I've never seen an LED bulb that actually operates at full dim. Every other one will cut out at about halfway through the travel of the knob. This one here actually will light up full dim. But then as I turn it up, nothing happens until it reaches a certain point, and then it will get suddenly brighter. Okay, so it goes from that, I can back it off, and it's full dim. So it doesn't progress smoothly all the way from full bright to full down. But if you just want a nice glow, this would be almost like a night light. If I shut off all of my other illumination here, we can kind of get a feel for what that looks like. So that would make a nice night light. I'm not sure if you can see it on the camera. And of course the exposure on the camera automatically adjusted to kind of overexpose it. But right now it would be a nice night light. You wouldn't want it in your bedroom, but if you had that in an adjacent room, you could probably see the entire room once your eyes are adjusted to the darkness. So that's pretty useful. Going full brightness again. It's really quite blinding. You wouldn't want this somewhere close without a lampshade over the top of it. If you had it in a far away lamp fixture, like a chandelier or something, it might be okay, because you're not really looking that way anyway. But you will get spots in your eyes just by kind of glancing across it, because it is very bright. As far as temperature goes, I've only been running it for a couple minutes here now, but I had it running for a few hours earlier. And as far as temperature goes, the metal heatsink at the base, it gets fairly warm. You can touch it for about 5 seconds, and then finally you get to the point where you want to let go. The bulb up top, the actual glass dome, and by the way, I'm not sure if it's glass or plastic. I've seen it referenced as glass. It kind of feels like glass, but I'm not really sure. This part here, it never got to the point where you couldn't touch it. When it was running continuously for about 5 hours, I could absolutely hold it and not let go of it. So that means you could take this bulb out hot from a fixture and hold onto it easily by the glass dome. And that's both good and bad. The good thing, of course, is you can take it out if you want to, but how often you actually, swap light bulbs in and out. The bad thing is that's telling me that the heat transfer from the glass to the environment probably isn't as great as you'd hope it would be. Now inside you have the liquid silicone that's actually cooling the LEDs, and I assume that, that's doing a fairly good job, but the actual heat transfer from that liquid through this glass material isn't that great. So you would hope to actually have this hotter so that more heat is taken into the atmosphere and environment. But that's just a limitation of the bulb. Maybe eventually they'll have more thermally conductive glass they can use to help that out. But it does work quite well, and of course obviously they're quite confident in its abilities because they are allowing it to be used in fully enclosed fixtures, recessed fixtures. So that's all a very good thing that I haven't seen in any other LED bulbs. The price is quite high. It's 2 years ago it would have been competitive with other bulbs, but now that it's finally out on a cost basis for the amount of light it puts out, it's really not that good of an option. Unless you are looking for a stylish bulb that's high quality construction, in which case, it's something you can spend your money on if that's what you want to do. But overall, a pretty good bulb, I would say. And they are coming out with other versions, a 40 watt, a 75 watt, and a 100 watt equivalent bulb, all using the same design, the liquid cooling. So, that's the Switch 60. It's been talked about for years. It's been a feature article in many popular magazines. And finally, you can buy it from BatteriesPlus. I'm not sure if they're going to open up their distribution channels later on, but for now you can get that at any BatteriesPlus store or online, which is where I got mine. So anyway, that's a review, and I hope you enjoy yours. One last thing I wanted to show is what the shadows look like from this unfrosted bulb. So this is a projection, it's a shadow from an object that's placed approximately 6 inches away from the bulb. And you can see the shadow is pretty dramatic. You have at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 separate shadows from the LEDs on that side of the bulb. I'm standing a little bit further away, and you can see the closer the object is, the more pronounced the shadows become. So that is, it's pretty bad, to be honest. I really don't know if you'd want to use this anywhere that has objects close to it in an unexposed or an exposed fixture. If you have the bulb a long way away from any object, then it might work. But if you have anything such as lighting structures, so if you have a chandelier with all sorts of, intricate structural pieces next to it, it's just going to make your room look horrible. So I think the frosted bulb is probably a better option. Now if you don't have anything super close, it's not so bad, but you still definitely do have those multiple shadows. Just a thought.